conversations, right? There's a lot of manners, the things that you can say and things that you can't say. This is an area of study within pragmatics, right? And rules regarding how turns are taken, how topics are introduced, right? How conversations, when they break down, how is it dealt with? Okay? Using nonverbal and verbal signals, right? Use of body language. Body language is a big part of good communication. Okay, so for example, hi, how are you, Mr. Talandis? Hi, say, no, hi.
How are you, Mr. Talandis?
I'm great. Am I great? No, of course not. My English is perfect. I have no grammar mistake at all. But my body language and my tone of voice, my intonation don't match. So therefore, it's not happening. You know I'm lying, right? Okay? So that's what I'm talking about here, right? So this is an area we'll study. Okay, back to Grice's theory of implications. So now you can see why we need these kind of diagrams. There's so many different factors involved, and it's trying to take life and make sense out of it. It's really complicated, and it's quite fascinating to get into it. But we're teachers, and our responsibility is to help our students to improve their language. So this is a really important question to address. Why bother? Who cares? Right? So here's my way I've answered this question for myself. So basically, when we're in the classroom, we're teaching English in the classroom, and our classrooms are really at the intersection of language and culture. Right? They're really connected things. Okay? And so there are a lot of pragmatic rules in language, but they also vary across cultures. So pragmatic rules of how to conduct a successful conversation in Japan are not necessarily exactly the same as other countries. Okay? And even within cultures, there's different types of people and different groups, and the rules differ as well. So there's a lot of variance there. So raising pragmatic awareness of our students can help them improve communication, and gives them a chance to avoid some really critical problems. So in other words, they learn how to communicate. Not just learning words, but learning the context, and when you say this and when you say that, and giving them more control and awareness of how to really communicate. Because they know in the target culture, this is how people talk, so they'll have to follow that if they want to communicate successfully.
Nine syntactic patterns covered 97% of the complement of the data, they studied. Actually, they studied about 800 complements. And also, only 5 positive adjectives like nice, good, beautiful, pretty, great covers, and 2 verbs like and love, and 1 adverb, well, covers 96% of the data. And in Australian data, another research that studied about Australian complements, and they added, also, a love rate. Especially, it seems like Australian women use love rate a lot. And if they just learn them, and even they can just learn the first three syntactic patterns, they could complement, people like native speakers. So complement is a kind of very easy, accessible speech to start with. So what we do is unconscious. And so why bother? person, why did you do that? Because they won't even remember they did that. So this is the beauty of conversation analysis. It digs very, very deep at the unconscious level of the participant themselves, but also the researcher. And I'm going to explain a little bit more in detail about why CA, short for conversation analysis, fits. Now, what you need to know is that it is not connected to linguistics. Harvey Sachs and Amanda Shekloff were part of the sociology department. Okay? And it was hugely influenced by ethnomethodology. Okay? And ethnomethodology focuses on the study of common, ordinary practices in daily life. In the 1960s, researchers were not interested in common stuff, right? They were interested in very important things. And so, regular daily conversation is too messy, and well, everybody knows, how to talk. So they were really, in general, the field kind of avoided ordinary things. But in the 60s, Sachs and Shekloff realized, hey, this is something very, very interesting. And they spent a lot of time looking very closely at how people communicate. Now, this is the part you have to look at. Okay? Look, leans forward. Now, when this happens, I think when you, in everyday conversation, when somebody goes like this to you when you're speaking, what does that indicate? It may indicate that they didn't hear you properly. Okay? So, this is, I believe, the reason why the sense of value for the third time was there. The other bit of evidence for me is that if you listen to it again, you will hear that the third sense of value is a little bit louder than the other sense of values.